Hello, friends. Today we are analyzing Microsoft. Today is May 29th, 2026, Friday. The week has already closed for a week as well as month has already closed for the May. And let's look some interesting action that is happening on Microsoft. So let's start with the monthly chart. As we know, Microsoft is one of the best long-term performing technology stock, as we can see on the screen here on the monthly time frame. It's been straight one line up with some pullbacks along the way for last 10 years and more. So it's a secular uptrending stock, and it has been in a downtrend for last few months. So the recent high was in October 2025 for the high of 553, and it bottomed out exactly at the previous low that had happened in April 2025 for 356 around that price. So now we see on this chart, if you look by bar, each bar high has been lower than the previous bar. So this bar is 524, this bar is 493, this bar is 489, this bar is 430, this bar is 413. At this point in the month of April, we see the high is much higher than the previous high, which was 433, is much higher than the 413 high. So this month of April already told us that, hey, the price is willing and the investors are interested to push the stock higher, and the downtrend is almost done. So this got us excited to start paying attention to the stock, and this is definitely a beginning of the new up move that we can see in the stock for coming months to a year. So let's look at the long-term projections on the chart. So we will use, in this case, at least Fibonacci tool to find out the extensions. So we take the Fibonacci tool, we take the high, and we connect to the low, and let's see what projections we get. So the first level is 680, and if the momentum continues, it's the second level is 870, or you can just approximate for 650 first level, 850 second level. So those are the targets on the chart we can see on in near term to a year or more, which is 650 and 850 targets. Okay, and let's look at the weekly chart. Let's get rid of this Fibonacci tool from this and go back to the auto adjust. And even on the weekly setup, you see we have been on this leg up and it consolidated for a few weeks. So this is called as a flag pattern, where you have this flag pole, then you have this resistance line, and as you draw the lows, this is a flag pattern. And this week, for the week of ending Friday 29th, this has been moving much higher for last 2 days, and it also happened on high volume. So this is definitely a good sign for the stock to see much higher levels. So let's go back to the daily and see how the chart looks on the daily side. So we can see there has been this consolidation for almost more than a month or a month and a half. And yesterday, this bar has shown us that it wants to go much higher with a very big or decent pickup in volume. You see there was no volume on for 4 to 5 days or 6 days, and suddenly you see a big spike in volume, and the action was very bullish, and it closed much closer to the high of the day. So the high of the day is 429 or 430ish, and it closed close to 427. So that was already telling you that there is a lot of buying interest coming back into Microsoft. Today, we can see much more bullish action, and the stock moved up by more than 5%, and it closed at the high of the day. So this is just the beginning of the big move, and it happened at twice the average volume. The average volume on the 50-day average volume for Microsoft is 35 million, and we are seeing around close to 80 million traded for Friday on 29th May. So let's see what levels we can see immediately. Even though we have a long-term target of 650 and 850, but there are always going to be some levels. The stocks will move higher, take a pause, then move higher. Similar to this action, we have seen it has paused for a month and a half. It didn't go down, but it rests in this zone for a month and a half, and then it continues to move higher. So the first immediate levels we can see is this zone where the price was not allowed to go higher for almost 2 to 3 months, or at least I would say a couple of months, right? So in this zone, 490 is going to be a zone where there are a lot of buyers who have been trapped, and they have taken every opportunity to sell at this range. So expect in next few weeks, if the stock continues to have the momentum, 490 is the level where it can come and digest the gains that it has been having from levels of 410 all the way to 490. So anybody who buys now at this level can expect around 8 to 10% return in next few weeks. After it digests the gains for a few weeks or a couple of months or more, we could see the levels on the chart for around 450 zone, 450 to 430 zone, 550 to 530 zone, and we can see that move happening by maybe end of the year or much earlier than that, if all the news in the market is positive and there is not much negative news in the market. So first level 490, followed by 550ish to 530, and then followed by 650 and 850. So 850 levels, 650 levels could take few months, or most likely more than a year time, but this is definitely a good long-term buy stock if you want to buy, invest, and forget for a year or two with some of your investment funds. So you can definitely try to see around 70 to 80% returns in next 1 year to 2 year time frame. That's all I have. Happy investing and trading, and congrats for people who are looking to invest into Microsoft and make use of this. If you like my content, please like, share, subscribe.